everyone. Thank you for tuning in. My name is Vineet Malhotra, and today we are going to have a conversation, perhaps with one of the most recognizable faces and voices and minds when it comes to the game of cricket in India, Mr. Ayaz Memon. Ayaz, appreciate you taking out the time and speaking to us. You're looking as sparkling and as good as ever. First up, a very simple question I have for you. To me, what comes to my mind is that we won the second Test match, but the way we lost the first one, there was quite a gulf between our performance. What changed? What happened?
Well, I think when you're beaten so badly, in fact, we were thrashed in the first match, by 227 runs. So it's like a immediate wake-up call. I think that the fact that we've lost a Test match at home, that to a Chepauk, which is a India-friendly surface, so to speak, and in the wider context, whatever they may be downplaying it now, Virat or Shastri or whoever else, that the World Test Championship, TK, it keeps changing the qualifying rules. But the fact is that it's a very prestigious tournament, and you have to be all through for about a year and a half, almost a little over a year, we were the number one contenders for a place in the final. And suddenly we'd become number 4. And there was a threat that you might remain at number 4 if you didn't, kind of pull up your socks well. Then there's the pride. There's team pride. There's personal pride. I think, the realization that ultimately, when it's a Test match, it doesn't come on a platter. You're not playing a real rookie team. This is England, which had come beating Sri Lanka 2-0.
Correct.
Had got prepared for the subcontinent pitches, the weather, and I thought that they played marvelously and we played poorly.
How would you reflect upon Akshar Patel's performance? He got Joe Root in both the innings. And, let's also, in fact, talk about Ashwin. The way he's been bailing the team out with the ball is commendable already. And now he also shown with the bat.
Well, Ashwin first, because I think he's been a revelation this season, this 2021 season. He's got, I think, 29 wickets in 5 matches. In Australia, 12 and 17 already in this series. So it's not that he can't get wickets overseas. 12 wickets in 3 matches in Australia. He's at his peak as a bowler. There's so much skill and variety in what he does. And, the variety comes with the skill and also with the application of mind and the sustained hostility. I mean, he's a spinner, but he's relentless. He's wanting a wicket every ball. So that's one. The other is that he's shown his versatility. I think the emergence or re-emergence of Ashwin as a batsman has been amongst the most beneficial aspects for him as well as for Indian cricket. He saved a match at Sydney, and his 100 at Chepauk was marvelous exhibition of how quickly and how well he read the pitch, and he went after the bowling. It was a flamboyant innings. I think in my opinion, he is nudging. He's in the same cluster as Vinu Mankad and Kapil Dev now as the great all-rounders that India has produced. And I choose my words very selectively when I'm referring to Kapil Dev or Vinu Mankad. But 5 Test centuries, 28 or maybe 29 5-wicket hauls so far, almost 400 wickets. I mean, this is an extraordinary performance already, and he's got about, I think, 3, 4, 5 years more to go. Where Akshar Patel is concerned, there is a school of thought, and I might subscribe to it, that had he played in the first Test match,
I was going to ask that.
It might have been a little different for India, because Shahbaz Nadeem, I mean, he's a fine bowler. He's done extremely well in domestic cricket, and that's why he was called in. But he had stage fright in that match, and there were just too many loose deliveries. Like we saw happen with Moeen Ali in the second match. He got 8 wickets in the match, but they came at a very high cost. I don't think he had stage fright. He was just away from cricket, COVID affected, etc., out of Test cricket for a while. So he should have had, actually, Moeen should have had 10, 11, 12 wickets for maybe 110, 120, instead of which he had 8 wickets for 220. And it makes a big difference,
Correct.
So I think Akshar has got this, ability. He's a tall guy, slightly round arm, bowls at a fairly nippy pace. And on pitches like these, it can be lethal because, the ball can just stand up on you, go with the arm or come in with the arm, break away from the batsman. All of that we saw. And to get Root in both the innings was what just showed how accurate he was, if not, the same variety as an Ashwin. He didn't have to use too much variety. The trick in such a pitch is really not to spin the ball too much, because the pitch is itself doing so much. You try too hard to spin the ball, you're probably not going to get batsmen out.
And I asked, after admonishment after in the first test for Rohit and Rahane, in comparison to what Rahane did in Australia, it was in fact a sigh of relief to see both of them put runs on the board.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, look, I think in many ways, Rohit Sharma and what he's shown on Indian pitches in test matches, I'm not talking white ball cricket everywhere. On Indian pitches so far, Rohit Sharma is peerless, even in red ball cricket. He's got, I mean, mammoth scores that he's been notching up ever since he became opener. 160, I mean, he just set the game up for India. He got upstaged by Ravi Ashwin, who took 8 wickets and a century, a 5 wicket bag, and a century in the same match. Otherwise, it was Rohit Sharma's magnificent, brilliant knock which set up the victory for India. And then, of course, it was exploited to the hilt by somebody like Ashwin. And then Rahane, I thought the partnership between him and Rohit was very crucial. And these guys are, they're now, 30, 32, almost 33. So they've got 10, 12, 13 years of cricket. I mean, both of them have been part of India under 19 teams, So they've got about 12, 13 years of first-class experience, 7, 8, 10 years of international experience. I thought Virat also played a superb knock in the second innings.
Correct.
From a technical point of view, it was masterclass. Not a single fault. It was flawless. So, I mean, these are guys who are terrific batsmen, and they have to come good in conditions which they know so well.
Absolutely, yes. And, I don't know how to put this subtly, but should we be worried about Virat's form, considering what happened in Australia and then the first and the second test match against England?
Certainly not. I think even, in all the 3 matches that we've seen, he's got a half century in one of the innings. I mean, in this match, of course, he had a 0 in the first inning, very early, and a big breakback from Moeen Ali, which got him.
Correct.
Perhaps he shouldn't have gone for such a extravagant cover drive and missed the ball completely. But in the second innings, he made up for it. The thing about Virat and players of his caliber and his, if they are a little under pressure, they come back and perform better. So I think we had in the only match, Adelaide match, which we lost, we had a 74, I think, in the first innings when he got run out in an unfortunate mix-up with Rahane. Didn't make too many in the second innings, but that was a terrible collapse. 36 all out.
Correct.
He had 100 in the first match when we lost. 72, again, a sparkling knock. And then he's got a 62 here. So I don't think he's out of form at all.
All right. Predictions for, it's a long series and England are here for the long haul. And, Anderson is going to come back for them in the pink ball test, hopefully. And should that be making a difference?
It will make a difference. Certainly England will hope it will make a difference, and India have to be, on guard. Because Anderson actually set up that victory in Chepauk, the first match.
Correct.
With a spell, yes, it was very difficult to save the match, but if you come and take 3 wickets in one spell, within 2 or 3 overs, then you've broken the back of the other team. So that's what Anderson did. And remember here, I think not just Anderson, I think Jofra Archer will also be back. They'll probably drop a spinner. I think Moeen Ali is going to, be out of the team, as I understand it. And they'll probably they might retain Stuart Broad or somebody else, but I think Jofra Archer and, Anderson will be there. More so because it's a day-night match, pink ball, it swings, reverses when there's twilight, etc., etc. So it won't be the, the viciously spinning track or a vastly spinning track that was seen. I mean, we don't know as yet how the pitch will play. It's a completely new setup. It's the first match in the redone Motera. But traditionally, what we've seen is that under lights, things do help the fast bowler. So England will go, for the optimum, which is pack the side with high quality fast bowlers and try and grab the advantage from India.
I ask last question before we let you go. There's a T20, a few fixtures of the T20 game, and then you also have the ODI format, which is going to be played between India and England. Your predictions, and should India be wary of anything that England perhaps might have up their sleeves?
Look, I think the challenge is there for India in the white ball formats, especially in ODIs. England are the world champions, and they've shown it's a completely different setup. A whole new set of players virtually will come, barring 1 or 2 who might be there. Stokes and Root will be there, obviously, in the ODI team. In the T20 again, some other players come. I think England have been able to kind of compartmentalize their players and their approach and Ian Morgan has been a terrific captain in white ball cricket. So it's not going to be easy, though India are playing at home. But of course, India also has a formidable team. I mean, in 2019, by a bare couple of inches, we lost that semi-final in a sense when Dhoni got run out. And New Zealand, of course, not to take away any credit from them, but India were a very good team. 5 centuries for Rohit, Virat, a wonderful batsman, terrific scores he's made. New talent coming in. There's Bumrah, so it's not going to be easy for England. But India cannot afford to think that even if we win the Test series, के ODI भी हम बहुत आसानी से जीत जाएंगे. Not easy to beat England.
I asked one teeny question. You spoke about the pink ball. There was a controversy related to the SG ball as well. What did you make of that?
Look, I mean, nobody's complained about the SG ball after the second test.
Exactly.
Nobody from the Indian team. So, I mean, look, yes, there are some hardships posed by the ball, sometimes by the pitch. What I liked about this is also where the pitch is concerned. There was so much about the second match pitch. This is unplayable, this is not test worthy, etc., etc. But what I liked is, barring a couple of players, I think maybe a Stuart Broad or a Ben Stokes, who kind of liked some of the criticism of the pitch, Joe Root was candid to say that we were not outplayed by the pitch, we were outplayed by the Indian team. So I think that kind of honesty is important. So if we lost the first test match, Joe Root played a marvelous 218. We gave away too many loose balls. They run up a score of 578. You're always going to be on the back foot. They can't lose, you can't win. It has to be either a draw or you lose. So that's what happened.
Absolutely. Appreciate you joining us and giving us your quick thoughts on this match that really, in fact, put India in a different scheme of things altogether, because they were being heavily criticized after the first test match had been concluded. Thank you so much, Ayaz. Appreciate you joining us.